Imagine yourself on the battlefield, where every decision could mean the difference between life and death, where some fight to the very end, determined to achieve victory at any cost, while others do whatever it takes just to survive. In today's video, you'll discover real and surprising stories of soldiers who faced this impossible choice in war. Were they heroes fighting until their last breath, or survivors trying to escape an endless nightmare? Stay with me until the end to hear these tales of bravery and survival. Leoda Babuka was born in Kazakhstan and moved to Ukraine at the age of 16. She got married and settled with her family in the village of Zydki in the Zmiev community, Kharkiv region. After her divorce, Lyudmila found a job as a saleswoman in Malia Rohan. Shortly after, the war began. On February 25, 2022, the village of Mala Rohan was invaded by Russian troops. Lyudmila did not want to remain under Russian occupation and decided to flee. Along the way, she met fighters from the 92nd Separate Assault Brigade and decided to join the brigade as a volunteer. Lyudmila became a mortar assistant and later attended paramedic courses. Lyudmila saved the lives of many of her comrades at Ground Zero. She spent almost all of her military service in the most dangerous places on the front line and participated in the liberation of the Kharkiv Oblast. On May 10, 2024, Leoda Babuka was on a combat mission in the Kharkiv region when she was killed by a Russian air bomb. She was 46 years old. David Lee Coate lived in New Baltimore, Michigan, and served as a mechanic in the Michigan Army National Guard from 2008 to 2014. David was also deployed to Iraq from September 2010 to September 2011. When he returned from Iraq, he faced personal challenges and went through tough times. With Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, David found a new sense of purpose in his life that he hadn't felt in a long time. He wanted to create a better future for his children. David Lee Coate arrived in Ukraine in June 2022 and was sent to fight in the trenches around Bakhmut, where Russian and Ukrainian forces were engaged in a major battle. The veteran also found himself surrounded in the city of Soledar when he mistakenly approached a Russian checkpoint and had to reverse his vehicle to escape while it was on fire. David broke his leg and spent a week recovering in Kiev, but felt the need to return to his unit, so he went back to the front lines. On October 1, 2023, while he was on his way to Kharkiv, he decided to take shelter in a house for the night. The Russians discovered his location and launched a drone attack that destroyed the building and killed everyone inside. David Lee Coate was 35 years old and left behind 3 children. Alex Brandon Coburn, also known as Sasha, was born in Ukraine on March 28, 2000. He spent his childhood in an orphanage until he was 15, when he visited Palmyra, Pennsylvania, through an orphanage exchange program called Guglielmo's Hope. On June 15, 2016, he was adopted by the Coburn family. During his time in the United States, Sasha attended Palmyra High School, where he studied English as a second language, took art and guitar classes, played on the soccer team, and was a member of the wrestling team. He worked at places like Hershey Park, Amazon, and Ask, and volunteered with the Palmyra Fire Department. Sasha was active in the youth group at Palmyra Grace Church and returned to Ukraine to prepare to become a missionary when Russia invaded Ukraine. Initially, Sasha worked as an interpreter for Newsmax, then joined a group of medics. In Ukraine, Sasha found love and often said, "Sometimes war creates something beautiful, for example, love." In September 2023, Sasha joined the Ukrainian army and fought on the front lines. Alex Brandon Coburn became a lieutenant, but on October 2, 2023, he was killed in action by a Russian sniper. Sasha was 23 years old. Anastasiamaranuk, call sign Troy, was a student at the Institute of Philology at the Taras Shevchenko National University of Kiev, where she studied Japanese and English. With the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, she decided to interrupt her studies and join the Volunteer Defense Forces, specifically the 1st Infantry Battalion of the 67th Independent Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Volunteer Corps Right Sector. Kind, beautiful, and brave, Troy became a combat medic, a role she performed with honor and love. Troy fought in the defense of Kiev and also saw combat in the Zaporizhia region, the focus of intense clashes, as well as in the battles of Bakhmut and Avdiivka. On March 18, 2024, Anastasiamaranuk was killed in action by Russian troops while evacuating wounded soldiers in the Donetsk region. She was 22 years old. Daniel Styer knew how to conduct himself with dignity and honor. At the age of 14, he spent his vacations at camps organized by GROM, Poland's best special forces unit and one of the best in the world. In adulthood, Daniel was a survival and combat shooting instructor. Daniel had a thirst for knowledge and graduated from various universities, including cultural studies, real estate management, and international relations. He spoke English very well and was fluent in Spanish, French, Russian, and Ukrainian. Raised in the tradition of the Warsaw Uprising, he worked on the Council of the Foundation for Assistance to Soldiers of the Home Army, supporting veterans and organizing commemorative events for the Warsaw Uprising. When the war began, Daniel Styer decided to travel to Ukraine. Initially, he did humanitarian work, but later he decided to join the International Legion. On November 25, 2022, during a reconnaissance mission on the front line in the Luhansk region, a member of his sapper team activated a booby trap, resulting in an explosion that mortally wounded him. Daniel Styer fought for his life for 3 hours under enemy fire, without painkillers or medical assistance, but he did not survive his injuries. He was 35 years old. Haruan is a former Yakuza member who is now fighting in the war in Ukraine, marking an impressive change in his life trajectory. Haruan was previously a criminal in Japan, but he decided to go to Ukraine to fight against the Russian invaders. The Japanese man, who is over 50 years old, is seeking redemption, trying to leave his dark past behind and contribute to a noble cause. Despite having no prior military experience and not speaking the local language, Haruan joined the Georgian Foreign Legion, where he was trained as a sniper. Even with language and cultural barriers, he gained respect among his comrades due to his work ethic and life experience, as well as the tattoos covering his body, which are typical of his past in the Yakuza. Karina was born on February 15, 1999, in the city of Volodymyr-Volynskiy, located in the Volyn region of Ukraine. Karina graduated from the National Academy of Land Forces, a prestigious Ukrainian military institution, where she studied in the Faculty of Moral and Psychological Support. After graduation, Karina was tasked with taking care of the psychological health of Ukrainian soldiers. Karina served as a lieutenant in the 128th Separate Mountain Assault Brigade, where she held the role of deputy commander of the Moral and Psychological Support Company. During her career, Karina was deployed to high-tension regions, such as eastern Ukraine, where the brigade was involved in operations in the Priazovia and Luhansk areas. On June 9, 2021, while carrying out her military duties near the village of Shirokin in the Donetsk region, Karina tragically lost her life by committing suicide. She was 22 years old and is remembered as a heroine who gave her life in the defense of Ukraine. Yanos was born in Dino, Poland. He spent 13 years in the United Kingdom, where he studied at a drama school and earned a degree in acting. He also worked in Germany but never found happiness in those countries. In 2014, he arrived in Zaporizhia from Poland, where he discovered the Zaporizhian Cossacks and began visiting the Zaporizhian Sikh, their historical center. When the war began, Yanos joined the International Legion. He became a platoon commander in a unit composed of soldiers from Colombia, Japan, and Germany. He was given the call sign Kozak and used to say that if Putin wasn't stopped in Ukraine, Poland would be the next victim. On December 4, 2022, Yanos was killed in action in Bakhmut after being hit by Russian artillery. He was 41 years old and left behind a wife and a daughter. Alexandra joined the Hospitalers Battalion during the war, where she was given the call sign Mike. Alexandra was an incredible person, a driver, a combat medic, a crew commander, and a patriotic citizen of Ukraine. She was known for her care for the elderly and her constant pursuit of improving her skills as a professional and leader. Mike's area of operation was primarily in the Kharkiv region, where she participated in several medical evacuation missions and provided support to frontline troops. She fulfilled multiple roles, including that of a driver and team commander, in addition to being a highly skilled combat medic. Her dedication and abilities made her a respected and admired figure within the battalion. On August 14, 2024, Alexandra Mike Mulkovich, along with two other combat medics, was on a rescue mission in the village of Bely Kolodyaz in the Kharkiv region when the vehicle they were in exploded after being hit by a Russian FPV drone armed with explosives. The crew, composed of 3 women, was working on the last day of their rotation and would have been home with their families the next day. Mike was 35 years old. Alexi was born on October 20, 1993, and developed a passion for aviation early on, a passion that would later define his military career. He joined the Ukrainian Air Force, where he was given the call sign Moonfish, and quickly established himself as a capable and dedicated pilot. By June 2022, Moonfish had risen to the position of squadron commander, leading a unit of MiG-29 fighters. His expertise and leadership were crucial during the initial stages of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Moonfish and his fellow squadron members played a key role in Ukraine's campaign to acquire F-16 fighters, undergoing intensive training in the United States. On August 26, 2024, during one of the most powerful missile and drone airstrikes carried out by Russia since the start of the war, pilot Alexi Moonfish was killed in aerial combat after his F-16 was shot down. This occurred just a few weeks after these aircraft had arrived in the country. Before his death, Moonfish managed to destroy 3 cruise missiles and 1 attack drone. He was posthumously promoted to the rank of colonel. Evi Shishov was born in 1982 in St. Petersburg, Russia. Despite not having any formal training in acting, Shishov began his film career in 2015, often playing roles as a military officer or police officer. Evi Shishov became famous through 19 Russian TV series and enjoyed performing most of the action scenes himself without using stunt doubles. In February 2024, Evi Shishov signed a contract with the Russian Ministry of Defense and was sent to the front lines in Donbass, where he was given the call sign Styer. When Ukrainian troops invaded the Kursk region in Russia, Styer was deployed to the area alongside a contingent of Russian soldiers to repel the invasion. On August 18, 2024, after participating in several battles against Ukrainian forces in the Kursk region of the Russian Federation, Evi Shishov was killed by shrapnel from a Ukrainian artillery strike. He was 42 years old and left behind a wife and a 15-year-old daughter. If you enjoyed these incredible stories of courage and survival, don't forget to hit the like button to support the channel. And we want to hear from you. Do you think these soldiers were fighting until the end, or just trying to survive? Leave your comment below and join the discussion. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe now so you don't miss our upcoming videos filled with impactful and emotional stories. Don't forget to hit the bell to get all notifications. And while you're at it, check out our other videos on military topics that you won't find anywhere else.